بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأصلي وأسلم على من بعث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم افتح علينا أبواب حكمتك واستر علينا أثواب رحمتك، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. اللهم يسر ولا تعسر، اللهم أعن، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. اللهم بارك فينا وبارك لنا وبارك علينا واجمع بيننا في الخير. اللهم اعصمنا من الخطأ والزلل. اللهم آمين، اللهم آمين، اللهم آمين، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Brothers, inshallah, thank you for coming, and may Allah Azza wa Jalla reward you for that. Inshallah, tonight we're gonna study Hadeeth that is in Sahih Muslim. Okay. So it is a sound Hadith in Sahih Muslim. The sanad, the chain of transmission goes like this: حماد بن سلامة عن ثابت عن عبد الرحمن بن أبي ليلى عن صهيب. So the Sahabi that who narrates the Hadith is Suhaib. Now Suhaib is called Suhaib al-Rumi, Suhaib the Roman. But Suhaib in reality was no Roman. He was an Arab. He was from Bani Namar. So he was a Namari. Who was Namari? Who can tell me someone famous from Namar? Hafid al-Maghrib, Ibn Abdul Bar, Abu Umar, who was a Namari from the tribe of Bani Namar. So this Sahabi is Suhaib. This Sahabi is called Suhaib ibn Sannan ibn Malik. Suhaib ibn Sannan ibn Malik. This Sahabi was kidnapped as a kid by the Byzantines, by the Romans. He was taken to Byzantium and he was raised there until he became a man. He gained his freedom. He went back to Mecca and he became a very successful spear maker. Spears, harab. So he used to make them and he was very good at them. He used to train with them. He used to make weapons and train with weapons. So he was very good with the bow, and that will come to us. And he was very good with spears. Also, he made a fortune for himself in Mecca, selling and making spears. He listened to the Prophet ﷺ, and immediately faith entered his heart. He just believed, and when he accepted Islam, he had to make hijrah, because this is the logical step after Islam, after Tawheed. Hijrah, it's going from the country, the people, the context of kufr to the country, to the people, to the context of Tawheed. He made that journey from Mecca to Medina in secret. He took his money, some of his money, took some of his weapons, and he went to Medina. Of course, the kuffar caught up with him in the middle of the road. They were like 10, he was alone, on a horse, and they came to him, and from afar they said, "We will kill you. You came to Mecca a poor man, and you came here, and you made a business for yourself, and you made money, okay, opened a bank account at Abu Jahl's bank, and then you wanna go to Medina and use it against us." So he said back to them, before they came to him, he said, "You know what I make. I make weapons and I train with them. You are 10. By the time you come to me, I would have killed 7 with my arrows. He that remain, I'll take care of them. Okay, but I will give you a good deal. If I gave you all my money, all my savings, would you let me go to Medina?" So his life savings, Medina. It was Dar al-Hijrah. So he said, would you let me go? And they said yes. He said, "Go to such and such place. You will find my gold and my silver, and take it." So he bought Medina. He bought al-Hijrah with all his money. Now, of course, he came to Medina days later, exhausted. And he was armed at the time. By the time he came to Medina, his eyes got sick. You know, that's Ramad, that's what Ali radiallahu anhu had at the Battle of Khaybar, صح? We talked about that. So, he came to Medina, tired, hungry, sick, and almost blind. Okay, and he came and he found the Prophet there, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had a plate of dates in front of him. So he came and he was so hungry, came and started eating the dates. And the Prophet ﷺ told him, "You're blind and you're still eating?" And he said to the Prophet ﷺ as a joke, "I'm sick with this eye, so I'm eating with that eye." So this is the story of Suhaib. But Suhaib was one of those unfortunate, or let's say fortunate Sahaba in Mecca, and they had no one to protect them. Some of them died, killed, let's say killed. And some of them suffered a lot of torture at the hand of the mushrikeen. So Suhaib radiallahu anhu suffered a lot of that, alongside Bilal, alongside Khabbab, alongside the family of Ammar. Khabbab once was with Umar ibn al-Khattab, and Umar ibn al-Khattab said, "You are from the people who should sit next to me, because he knows his fadl, he knows his taqwa, he knows his history." So he said, you should sit next to me. And he sat next to him and he said, "Yani, tell me about the torture that you suffered in Mecca." And he didn't say anything, he just took off his shirt and he showed his back to Umar ibn al-Khattab. Umar ibn al-Khattab said, "Ma ra'aytu mithla al-yawm." I have never seen anything like this. And then he said, "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, O Prince of the Believers, they used to light a fire and put my back on it." And he said what got the fire out was whatever melted from my back that got the fire out, that put the fire out. So imagine that sight, the burnt back. And he said, "Ma ra'aytu mithla al-yawm." Umar ibn Khattab said, "I have never seen anything like this." So it is important that this hadith, this particular hadith, be narrated by someone like Suhaib. If Hamza ibn Abi Talib, if Ali ibn Abi Talib, Umar ibn al-Khattab narrated this hadith, it wouldn't have made much sense. But Suhaib received this story from the mouth of the Prophet ﷺ at a very difficult time. At the time of Mecca, torture, hunger, oppression, يعني very, very dark age. Now this era, the Meccan era, the Meccan time, is the time we identify with. It's the time where the leader of the Muslims, Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, with the minority of the Sahaba who were with him, was living in Mecca. Now, did he have any control, any power in Mecca? No, he didn't. Was he pursued, oppressed? Yes, he was. Were his companions tortured, killed? Yes, they were. But did he have the right to leadership? Yes, he did. Was he obeyed? Yes, he was. And so, we are talking about a leader who lives in Babylon, in the city of the Ta'ud, being obeyed and worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal with his company. Does that remind you of anything? If it does, think about it. Think about Musa alayhi salam living in Thebes, in the city of Pharaoh, under the mercy of Pharaoh. And he was the leader of the Israelites. And you should think about these things.